Hey guys, happy Friday night. And we're back, and I'm back to talk about sobriety on reality TV and certain cast members that have gotten sober on TV, on reality TV, that are relevant right now, including Carl Radke and Mike the Situation and Lala Kent. If you guys are just joining me and you don't know who I am, because I'm never here on a Friday night, I am reality with Krista Marie talking about Bravo and other reality TV. Well, Mike the Situation was on Jersey Shore, but I feel like there's so much going on right now, and not a lot of people talk about this. And I have my own journey with how am I talking to myself? I have my own journey with sobriety and addiction and mental illness. I feel like there's also Leah McSweeney's case was this week, I think. So I got some information on that. I want to talk about Carl, I want to talk about Mike, and I want to talk about Lala because I feel like they are the three right now. Those all three shows are pretty much the most popular. I would think the most watched, right? The biggest reality TV shows they are, and they're probably one of the biggest stars. Carl Radke, Mike the Situation, and Lala, right? Each one of them chose to get sober on reality TV. Like no questions asked. Like I said earlier, nobody was forcing them to get sober. But before I go into this, let me just make sure everybody likes, comment, subscribe, please. Instagram, I cannot see your comments unless I come over here, but I love you for being here. And this conversation is like really important. So eventually I would like to have, I'm going to actually make this a panel. I'm just going to like drop the link right now. Anybody that wants to come up and talk about this with me, I have, information on all of it, but we can talk about it because I feel like I said earlier, I need other people's opinions. Before I say anything else, I'm not an expert yet. We're not doctors. We're not experts. Everything I say is based on my personal experience. My opinion is my personal experience with mental illness, and which basically fuels the drug addiction. And it's always been like that. It's like a self-medicate. This is really annoying. Self-medicating addiction is what I call it. And that's kind of like the worst for me. I hate it because it's like it's mental illness that forces me to have to feel like I'm normal. And I used to do drugs to feel normal because I didn't want to take all the other like bipolar meds and stuff. So I started doing drugs when I was 22. I started smoking pot. I always smoked pot, but something was always wrong and I didn't know what it was. I was growing up, something was always wrong. And I've never been on reality TV. I'm just saying, but like, I watch all these people. Like I was starting to take pills when like the situation was started filming Jersey Shore. And I remember watching the Jersey Shore. I was their age, living at the Jersey Shore, like where I live. We rented the houses out. I did everything they did, except we didn't have cameras in front of us. And I would watch them. Same thing with watching Friends with Chandler. I would be like, I'm such a loser. Like they would never pick me because I'm a drug addict and blah, blah, blah. Not knowing that like the situation was going through the same thing I was going through. Carl Radke. Carl said something last season that really, I'm so glad that he said. He said, I'm sober off the drugs that were killing me, because there's a lot of there's a lot of people that say because we still smoke pot or because maybe we do like I like Adderall, like it's like prescription drugs, whatever, or still Suboxone or smoke pot, that we're not sober, right? Give me 1 second. Right. Now, if I didn't smoke pot, I truly believe that I would be on other drugs, We'll go into my whole situation another time, but I'm just like, I'm not an expert. I'm just somebody that literally still struggles with mental illness. I don't take my meds. So I understand what Leah meant when she said she didn't take them, but then she blamed Bravo for, hey, I'm so glad you're here too. It's so important, isn't it? I dropped a link in case anybody wants to come up and talk about this stuff. It's like really important. So I think. So yeah. Carl Radke, I'm proud of these three, okay? I know there's more, we'll talk about more, but I do want to ask them to come up and like interview them, and not interview, have a discussion about this stuff. But just to remind you, Carl Radke's on Summer House. He's been on the show since day one. He was, I guess, struggling with alcohol I don't remember really a lot of the scenes where he was they were calling him Cocaine Carl, right? So he basically grew up him and his brother. And his brother always was also partying. It's like with Carl, they were at the same age. So Carl joined somewhere around 2017 and started drinking throughout the summer. And like I said, he's been a key member of that entire group ever since. And they've all been drinking, right? But he said he's always been single. He was a bachelor up until he met Lindsay, or he was always like, hooking up with girls or whatever. And he said he just had emotional struggles, past relationship wounds, like insecurities. And he said he tried to cope with excessive drinking and avoiding deep emotional connections, which I understand. He said Carl's drinking led to many of the show's dramatic moments, including heated arguments, hookups, regrets. I don't remember half of that stuff, but I do remember him just drinking a lot with everybody else. But I do remember taking a toll on his mental health. Now, something happened in August of 2020. Carl's brother, Curtis Radke, he tragically died of an accidental drug overdose. And it was so devastating. It was devastating for everybody. It was devastating for Carl. And this is kind of what forced him to confront his own relationship with substance abuse. Now, like I said, he was on the show partying. And, he's basically at the Jersey Shore. And just like everybody else is there, he's partying and he's drinking. And some of us just can't. I remember I was one of those people. All my friends were drinking and stuff. Like, we had a house full of people. Everybody's our age, band members and everything. You know what I mean? I had to take 5 Oxycontin every night and start drinking. That's what I got up to. And then I was doing lines of cocaine. And that's what Carl said. Those drugs were killing me. The Oxycontin and, the cocaine were killing me, because that's what we were partying with back then. And I was doing that. And I didn't realize they were doing those drugs. So when he said that last year, I was like, oh my God. And he said crack cocaine. No, yeah, and I smoked crack too. I was also smoked crack back in the day. So when I tell you, like, my journey with addiction is so awful. And I'm just so lucky to be alive. And so is Carl, so is Lala, so is Mike. And they're still on TV. They're still on these #1 TV shows, reality TV shows, where we got other cast members that are saying that they can't get sober on Bravo TV. So it's like, I'm never going to blame Bravo for their addiction. You know what I mean? I don't understand Leah. We'll get to Leah in a minute, but like, I don't understand why she said she can tell us in season 1 that she's not taking her meds. And now she's saying that Bravo forced her bipolar, trigger her bipolar and her drug addiction or drinking. Again, stop taking accountability away from the addict, because that just doesn't work. That's called enabling, So I don't know I didn't know what happened with her case, but we're going to get into it a little bit. So yeah, Carl, and then so also his mom, and he's really close to his mom and his parents, but his dad ended up leaving his mom at right around the same time his brother passes away. Like, leaves the family for another woman. So the mom's devastated. She does eventually get married, but throughout this entire time, Carl is like, he was really candid about everything that he was going through. He's always been honest about, like, what was making him sad. And, basically him getting help was the biggest storyline they had, like, about 2 or 3 summers ago. And, he came back and basically ended up getting sober, I think, a year before he started hooking up with Lindsay, right? So he was one of the biggest transformations I remember. Anyway, so he gets involved with a relationship. So now they say Carl gets sober, and he's sober of all these drugs, and he's working for Kyle and Amanda, right? Which I think is a great idea. But he's again getting sober, but you're also working for a liquor distributor. So I'm just saying, he's a very strong-willed man. You know what I'm saying? So I guess, like, the drugs were the ones that were really, really bad. Like alcohol, he eventually, him and Lindsay get into a relationship. So Lindsay Hubbard, I don't know if you guys remember who Lindsay is. Let me see. I can play some stuff. Let's see. Oops. So this is him on a Rob Brothers podcast talking about his sobriety.
Aware of, kind of what was going on. I mean, I self-medicated by drinking and partying.
I lied. I'm sorry. I thought this was Rob Brothers. This is, oh wow, Bachelor Nation. I'm sorry, I lied. Okay, this is Carl explaining his journey. I'm pretty sure I'm allowed to
learning a lot, truthfully. Living in New York City, very easy to do.
That's true.
And I was able to, this sounds weird, but I was able to function. I was, at least in my opinion, I thought I was. I thought thought, going out 4 or 5 nights a week, staying out till 4 a.m. I was doing that for the first 5 or 6 years living in New York. I've been here about 8 years now.
Wow.
So yeah,
New Yorkers are different.
Yeah, the city doesn't sleep.
How old are you?
I'm 36.
Yeah.
36. Damn.
Yeah.
The stamina, bro. 4 or 5 nights a week. At 4 a.m. I'm like, I could not do that.
No, and I look a little bit different because I stopped boozing for actually I've been sober for a couple months now, and
Congrats.
with my brother's passing, I mean, to answer your question, how I'm doing the best I can, all things considered. Every day is a new day, which is good. I think just to kind of embrace, and I have a lot of gratitude for what I've got in my life, and it's put a lot in perspective. The passing of my brother, but also just taking better care of my mental health. So I didn't really start seeing a therapist legitimately until about a year and a half ago. Prior to that, I was seeing a therapist, but it was more about like relationships, and I wasn't actually being truthful in my therapy. I was kind of hiding some of the real things that I wasn't telling them I was going out till 4. I wasn't telling them how much I was drinking. I wasn't telling them the real honest stuff. And I think I was doing myself a disservice. I actually went to a Tony Robbins seminar, and I don't know like how people feel about Tony, but I mean, some of it's, I think pretty powerful.
Yeah. I went to a Tony seminar back in November of 19. I thought it was awesome.
I went to the Date with Destiny in West Palm Beach.
Very cool.
It was back in 2019. And I was just, I've had a lot of great stuff going on in my life, but I couldn't get out of my own way and just needed something. So I went down there, and that really triggered a lot of just taking better care of myself and being more open and honest about my mental health.
How do you think when you said you started seeing the newer therapist about 18 months ago, what changed to become more transparent and more authentic when you were speaking with your therapist?
I mean, you go through, you watch it, like, luckily in some ways, luckily and not luckily, just watching yourself on TV. I've been on Summer House 5 seasons now, and every season, for the most part, I've had some moments where, you guys can agree, you've had some moments you're not maybe proud of or super pumped about. And a lot of mine were alcohol related. And I was like, okay, I was blaming the girls in relationships. I was blaming other things except for myself. And I think after a while, you start pointing fingers.
Now, this is when he first got sober, guys. I have other clips of recently.
And people were like,
but this is good.
I started losing friends, people not wanting to hang out with me because I was a lot to be around. So you start looking around, you're like, the room's getting different. Some people aren't calling you back anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You got some females that never want to hear from you again, things like that. It started building up, and I was like, you know what? I can't live like this. So I've been on like a true mental health journey for about 18 to 20 months so far.
I love that. That's one of the first steps in going through that journey is to be introspective, right? To be mature, look at yourself, to know what you can do better and how to be better. So I commend you for that, right?
Thank you. And I was going to say, there's been a lot of, I'm a big sports dude. I play basketball. I'm about 6'5", so I love a lot of the hoopers, and I'll give credit. Kevin Love was very vocal about his mental health. Paul George, or no, it's DeRozan too.
Yeah.
So that stuff for me was helpful. I think when you look up to certain athletes or certain people in the public eye, it's like, okay, that dude's not wanting to get out of bed one day, or he has incredible anxiety. That kind of stuff I related to a lot, so that was helpful.
Definitely, man. I related to a lot of what Ricky Williams was saying, old Dolphins running back.
Yeah.
Some of the things that took place against him.
No, I love Ricky. I miss he.
See, like, I looked up to them. Like, I look up to Carl and all, Rick. You know what I mean? There's other. Let me see. There's more. Because this is important. I like talking about his journey. What am I doing? God, present, share screen. Okay. Yeah, Carl, that was when he first got sober. He's been sober a while now, so let's see. I'm gonna later one. It's like that was 3 years ago. All right, so let me find something else. So basically, yeah. Now, what I want to talk about with Carl too, before I find any more of his things, is the situation with Lindsay. So he gets in a relationship with Lindsay, right? And Lindsay Hubbard on the show. Now, they've been in a relationship on and off. He wasn't even sober a year, okay? And in August of 2022, they get engaged. They were only together for about a year before that. And I don't know, he credited his sobriety to her, but he said he was more emotionally and present and available in this relationship, right? He also, like I said, was working for Loverboy, but he gets in last year somehow, and they not last year, the season before, Summer House, him and Lindsay, it's the season that they're supposed to get married at the end of the summer, right? So they're engaged. Nobody thinks they should be married. The summer before, basically, they said they fought all the whole time, and all they did was talk about, or all they did was fight about her drinking and him trying to be sober. So then we fast forward, they are still engaged. They're supposed to get married at the end of this last summer. The season starts. We see Lindsay, his fiance. Now, this is Carl Radke, who's been, you just heard his sober journey, right? He has been sober for now 3 or 4 years, right? 3 or 4 summers. I think maybe we could relapse in between there. That I don't know if she had really experienced it, but she started accusing him of getting high again last summer. This man's not getting high. This is so dangerous for somebody who is sober and is in a freaking situation where they need your goddamn support. Like he needed his fiance's support. Not to sit there and accuse him, go out and getting drunk, which he was fine with. Not fine with, but he was kind of like Lindsay, where the summer house go out and drink. He would want to go home early or whatever. And every time he would want to change up the plans or want to go home early, not want to drink, want to be around her drinking, she would call him, say he was getting sober or getting drunk or getting high or you're high or high or cocaine, Carl. Now, this is all last summer and this is in front of all these people. Now, to me, like you, Lindsay, oh my God, I was so disappointed. This is somebody who he has a house with, a car, a life. He got sober. He wasn't sober a year when he got with her. That's also always a problem. They end up breaking up at the end of the summer. She's with somebody else and pregnant. But Carl has now spent just fast forward to this summer now. Carl is still sober, back in the summer house this summer, just that we're in right now as we're speaking, filming with Lindsay pregnant with another man's baby. And this man is still sober. It's amazing to me that he had gone through all of this. I mean, he had to go through a breakup with Lindsay because he had to break up with her. So what happens is by the end of the summer, everybody was like, guys, like Lindsay, you can't be accusing him of, they just weren't compatible. They weren't having sex. There's a whole bunch of stuff. And a bunch of stuff that we didn't even know about going on at home. She was accusing him of being abusive. It was crazy. But this man happened to stay sober. And I'm like, wow, dude, that is amazing. Like, I have such a hard time. Like, I struggle all the time. Like, I know if I was on reality TV, there's no way I would be able to stay completely sober. And I wouldn't do it. I would have to sign they sign a release. That's another thing. Bravo's contracts, I wish I had a copy of one. They talk about how it is not easy to stay sober. You're going to be around alcohol. If you have an alcohol problem with alcohol or drugs, if you have a problem with mental health, this is probably not the place for you to be. But please sign this release so they don't sue us. So, yeah, there's that. But I think Carl is amazing. Like one of the transformation that he has made and been able to maintain it is it's like really inspiring. And same thing with Carl, like on Mike's situation, right? Who we're going to talk about next. But I just want to find you guys more. I want you to see Carl present day. I don't know why I didn't pull any of them up. Let me see. So, videos of Carl Radke present day sober journey on Instagram. Okay, ChatGTP, and then goes up here. So yeah, basically he's like, back in the house, and I was like, how is this possible? Like, how is this? Like, I am so proud of him. This is what I worried about with Shannon Bedore. We're gonna get to her too, because all of this, I'm talking about this stuff because of Kim Richards right now. What's going on with her? She's my age. What's going on with Karen Huger? What is going on with Shannon Bedore? Why are these women still doing this stuff? Like, why are they getting caught drinking and driving? Why are you crashing into houses? You know what I mean? Why are you running off the road? Why are you drinking and driving and putting yourself in danger? Or why you're filming or not filming, in between. It doesn't fucking matter. Like, I'm really, really upset. Like, there's so much going on, like, with reality TV, and nobody freaking talks about it. They just abuse and, like, put people down. The way they're handling with Shannon, like, the way Bravo can do whatever the fuck they want, right? But I noticed a long time ago with Sonia from New York, right? Sonia started to drink a lot during the season and get really like naked a lot, very like, I don't know, just very destructive dancing. You saw what was going on, right? So I really truly believe her drinking she's always been, she's never healed again. She's one that's never healed from losing or not being a JP Morgan, whatever. I'm married to JP Morgan. So she's like a high socialite, right? So she's up, and she's like, you know, a socialite. She has to drink, whatever. Then you get on the show. And so, but I'm sorry, she gets a divorce, whatever. He leaves her. She's down and out. She's down and out, down and out. There's so much rejection in the social circle that she's in, right? In a socialite circle. I don't know. They blame Bravo, but listen. So this is the part I don't like, though. She ends up, you know, the rejection with Señorita, she feels is obvious, right? And I feel like, you know, the more she drinks, the more she gets naked a lot. And it really bothers me that Bravo cameras will stay fixated on her naked body. They did it on Ultimate Girls Trip just recently. And I noticed that she was getting naked in the middle of restaurants. Like where, why would you do that? First of all, why are the cameras watching her? And why does she have to have another person put on her clothes? Because she's wearing new underwear and bra. And she's in the middle of a restaurant drinking. And she's drunk and wasted. And she's naked. And then she's swimming naked and Bravo's watching her do that. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? That's what I get mad about Bravo with. Because they just don't give a shit. Look what they did. They don't know if they didn't think Shannon would, I don't know. They had to know that Shannon was at risk for really drinking and really like falling off the wagon. Having to film with goddamn Alexis and John Jansen. Because we're going to get to Shannon. Because these things, like, again, not Bravo's fault. They can film and they can produce whatever they want. But again, like, Shannon could have walked off the show. But, you know, and Karen, I don't know what Karen's doing. She admitted at one point that it was like some kind of, through grief and stuff, which I understand is self-medication. That's what we're talking about, right? But I guess she doesn't want to take accountability to the people, like her cast members. Again, maybe not. Like, I don't feel like they owe her. She owes them really anything. Because they're just going to put her down. I feel like it's just like the same thing with Tamara. Tamara is relishing. How do you relish? And like, remember Naked Wasted? She would be literally probably arrested for that if that happened. Do you remember what she did? Yeah. We'll talk about the earrings as we can too. Listen, how in the world? What did I just say? What did I just say? Oh my God, I just lost my train of thought. I saw that you just threw me off, Erica. Oh my God, where was I going with that? I don't know where I was going with that. Where was I going? Holy crap. Yeah. So basically, Tamara. Tamara gets naked, gets Gretchen naked wasted. Do you remember that? Just getting her so much alcohol, giving her extra alcohol. So drunk she was falling over, kissing like some young person, which I think was Tamara's son or something. Remember that? Look, that was Tamara that did that shit. This is the same Tamara who's screaming at her best friend that she's a drunk and an alcoholic, right? Like, bitch, I don't like it. She's not good, but Shannon has every right to walk off the show. But I feel she's so strong, Shannon, because I don't know how she does it. I don't know if I could have. You know, I really don't. But then, so now we also have Mike the Situation, right? Now, Mike the Situation has been on the Jersey Shore from day one, which is magical. Oh my God, how do I get out of here? Okay. Okay. Screen sharing. Okay. Mike the Situation. Oh my God. Like, he's been on the Jersey Shore. They have created a magical thing. It is the most magical thing that they have made millions of dollars. Okay. A group of kids my age, right, get picked to be on this reality show, which is they're just basically filming the Jersey Shore, the same thing we've done every summer, but there's cameras on them. But they created such a magical group of people. They are still to this day, it's been 20 years. They're making more money now on the new show than they did before. They're still well loved, and they've also gone through so many journeys. Ronnie going through it right now. Mike the Situation has now wrote a book on his sobriety journey and all the, what he went through. And again, I said I was doing the same drugs he was doing, all the pills and stuff. Same thing with Carl. I ended up after pills, I was smoking crack and shit. So I was, the drugs that were killing me, and then what killed me was the dope. And I woke up, that happened, and I haven't touched it since. It's been since 2012. But I'm sober off the drugs that were killing me. You know what I mean? There's, so, I've struggled with like Xanax and stuff, but again, that's my journey. We'll talk about it another time. But so we have Mike, right? So Mike is, I think he's like 36 now, but he gets on the show, and I know obviously everybody's drinking, so it's a show where everybody drinks all the time, Jersey Shore. But this whole time he's on pills, and there's a scene where they're in Italy, they're taping in Italy, and he fights Ronnie, and he rams his head into the wall, and he says now that he was going through withdrawal, he didn't have enough pills with him. And I'm like, there are so many times withdrawal, guys. Can I just tell you something? I'm still on Suboxone to this day. 12 years later, after I stopped doing stuff, like I still am not on my Suboxone, and I don't have an answer to you really why I'm not off them. They're very hard to get off of. The withdrawals is awful. So, Mike he's been really honest about his sobriety, which I really like. And when he came clean, he stopped talking to the whole, so they stopped filming. Basically, he was like using the entire time, and when they stopped filming, he got really bad. But he also got involved with his ex-girlfriend. Her name is Lauren. He was married to now, right? Lauren Peace. And basically, like in 2012, he rejoined the Family Vacation. It was called Jersey Shore Family Vacation 2018. So from 2012 to 2018, he spent his time working on himself, getting sober, right? And meeting Lawrence, we'll call her Lawrence. And when it gets on the show, when they start filming back in 2018 again, where I'm like told you, they're making more money than they ever have before. Family Vacation, his sobriety becomes one of the main topics. So, and then he married Lauren on the show. Like basically, he's just every year getting better and better. What happens though in the middle of the show in January of 2019, this horrible, horrible thing happened. So, well, he was already in trouble for tax evasion, as was I. I feel like our lives are mirrored. So in 2019, he began serving an 8-month prison sentence. So all of the show was watching. They stayed filming. Everybody was there when he went away. He was very positive about it. He said, I'm going to remain sober. He was committed to sobriety. He went in January of 2019. When he came out, September of 2019, married to Lawrence. He's an advocate for recovery now, mental health on the show still. And he speaks all kinds of different support groups. I'm going to show you some clips of them. Also, in 2018, like I said, he married Lauren, and they welcomed a baby in 2021. So Mike now has 3 kids, right? 2021, they had Romeo Rain. And then in 2022, okay, this doesn't have his other 3, but he had 2 other kids since then. And he's also wrote a book about his journey. So let's see some clips of Mike up. I love Mike. I'm gonna try to get Mike and Situation and Carl is in it for interviews for sobriety. I keep opening the wrong thing. I don't know. Carl looks like he does interviews, right? Oh my god. Yeah, we'll talk mental health. They're not worried about mental health. You're right. What am I doing? Present. Oh, Chris does that. Share screen. Oh my god. Okay. I'm like going situation. Okay.
The man built with rubble by your fumbled your crown. Hey, Situation's back, baby. And to think, I almost did make it this summer. I almost didn't make it in many ways. I almost didn't make it back to real life.
I'm doing great. Probably the healthiest I've been since I was like 5. Since he came out the womb. Yeah. It took me a little time to find out, the answers, and sometimes you never do. But I found out that fitness has always been a big part of my life, and that was definitely, like I said, one of the keys to finding myself back again. And I'm very happy. Plus, my buddies right here, they took a huge role in helping me get through the season, as well as, if I have any issues, I could, text them and whatnot. So everything's going well. Thank you.
I was a while already. Let's see if there's more. Carl. Oh, there's Mike. Sorry, guys. I got Lala too to talk about. What the hell? Stop sharing. Oh my god, am I frozen? No. Okay. Sorry. Yeah, they don't care, guys. They don't. But let me find some other recent ones. But yeah, I feel like, the book that he just wrote, I want to get it. It's about, his whole journey. But I told you guys, they're making more money now than they ever have. You know what I mean? It's the craziest thing. Oh. Videos. All right, here we go. Mike Sober. Sobriety. Sorry, guys. I thought I had a lot of these pulled up for you. I was like, oh, I'm going to be all professional. But it's Friday night. And talk about sobriety with Krista Marie. I thought that was cute, right? Okay, this is 2023. Okay. These are better. Okay. Let me share these for you. Okay. Let's share this. This is a good one. This is from recently. And this is his journey a little bit. It's only like a minute long. Share screen. Hey, Aaron. Oh my God, everybody's smiling with Aaron. Aaron D. Please follow her. Subscribe to her channel, please. She has all positive stuff every day. She talks about Disney a lot. And she's my best friend. And she's here because she knows I probably need her.
The addiction.
Are you sure you want to talk about that?
You say in the book, but the reality is everything. My drug addiction, the incoming money, and the demand for the situation continued to escalate at an astounding pace. So did the fame and the celebrity exacerbate the drug use?
100%. It was like gasoline on a fire.
Really?
I was already a young and wild, careless kid. And once you gave that kid millions of dollars and Ferraris and Lambos and girls screaming, my name and yes men everywhere, it was hard to turn that off.
Or you recall in the book that you spent over $500,000 on drugs.
Damn.
Well, yeah, when you think of that number, when you hear that number, what does that make you feel?
I got to just be accountable and be like, yeah, that happened.
Oh, God.
That I did spend about $500,000 on cocaine and oxycodone. I had everything on me at all times, in my Louis Vuitton bag, everything from, a couple hundred Rockettes, which are 30 milligram oxycodones. Then I'd have probably 150 Percocets on me, which are 10 milligram oxycodones. Then I would have probably 100 Xanax on me, 100 Valium. And if I wasn't traveling on a plane, maybe I would have some weed and cocaine as well. Life was going by so quickly that at the time, I made a mistake and I thought it was going to help my performance or my stamina. And for a little bit, I have to say that it did for a little bit.
Yeah.
But eventually, I became a dependent and I became addicted on these substances. And on shows like Dancing with the Stars and the talk shows, I was always high.
Yeah.
It was always high.
Mike actually struggled with addiction before his MTV days, but things escalated during Jersey Shore from 2009 to 2012. The Sitch worked hard to hide his battle from production. The most challenging part, season 4.
The one in Italy was very risky because you're traveling cross country, and I smuggled in a couple hundred Roxys in a shoe, in an Altoid case that I disassembled the shoe, and then I put that shoe in a suitcase full of 20 other shoes to disguise it. And once I got past TSA, and then obviously I had to go against the MTV and production security and protocols. Once they got to the bag in question, I said, I need to put those shoes on. So I took them out of the equation.
The ones that had the painkillers.
The ones that had about 500 in there.
I didn't know that MTV checked their stuff. Wow. That's shocking.
Yeah. And eventually, like I said, I misjudged my dependency every time. I would tell myself, we're only going to take 2 today. We're only going to take 2. I would always take 6. And eventually I ran out. And then you guys saw in Italy when I ran my head into a wall, I was going through withdrawal at the time because I had ran out of pills.
Well, MTV gave you an ultimatum.
Oh, they did.
Leading up to season 6. How was that presented?
I kind of was happy when they gave it to me.
Why?
Because I was running amok for years.
You were exhausted.
And I was exhausted, and I was surprised that I was able to push it that far.
The GTL cast wasn't always making the big bucks that Mike blew on drugs. He claims in Reality Check, making the best of the situation, that he spearheaded a Friends-type move and fought for them to get a major pay raise after season 1.
The whole cast was in New York City, and we were just on a high from Jersey Shore. and the ratings of the first season. And we were all in a room, and I guess the MTV lawyers or that representation handed out contracts, and the contracts were the same from the year before. And our contract from the year before was a couple $1,000s for the season, for the whole season. Then I just knew something wasn't right, and I knew that we had created a TV show that was groundbreaking. It was new. It was fresh. They said, sign on the dotted line or we're going to replace you. And in that moment in my life, I felt like I knew my worth. And I took the chance and I said, go ahead and try to replace me. And I walked out the room. Next thing you know, a couple weeks later, we got like $1 million raise.
That is stupid money.
It is very stupid money. And coming from a kid that probably didn't have to file taxes the year before because he...
Did you hear what he just said? $1 million motherfucking dollars to do exactly what I was doing every goddamn year. Do you hear this shit? Michael, amazing.
Didn't make the money. So if you read the first page in the book, where I'm sitting on my family's couch and it's Christmas, and I had just made about $5 million, and my brother, who was my manager at the time, he comes over to me and he says, "You had an amazing year. You made about $5 million. It's time to file." And I'm sitting on the couch, I'm swiping, I'm basking in.
No fucking way. That's exactly what I said. I looked at how much money I made and I was like, no way am I paying taxes. All this is too much. They're not taking my money.
My famousness. I got a Ferrari outside. And then he goes, or maybe you can get him next year. And I thought to myself, we'll get him next year. And that one decision on the couch, high, right? A couple years later, about 3, somebody would come knocking at the door, and that person would be Uncle Sam, and he wanted his money.
In 2014, Mike was charged with tax fraud. Nearly 3.5 years later, he pled guilty and was sentenced to 8 months in prison, plus probation and community service. But while waiting for his day in court, Mike confesses in his tell-all out December 19th that he struggled financially.
A sex tape under lock and key in your office as an insurance policy in case you needed it when times got tough and you needed money.
I was down on my luck. I was trying to stop the bleeding. I had to literally tell my mother. I had to tell my girlfriend at the time, who's now my wife. And I said, listen, I have to do this. And once we started to go down that journey of selling said sex tape, I realized it wasn't worth it.
Michael.
Ultimately, the video wasn't released.
No, it wasn't.
The act of desperation was just after his 3rd time in rehab. The next year, the reality star hit rock bottom.
How many times have you been to rehab? 4?
It was 4. Yes, it was 4. When I finally got to rehab in 2015, that was definitely my low. My lowest was like a day or so before that, when I did something I never thought I was going to do.
Which was?
Well, I ended up trying a drug that I never thought I would try, a drug that kills most people.
What was that drug?
It was heroin.
Did you realize things had gotten that low for him?
Things were pretty bad. In that moment, our relationship,
I love her so much,
was basically
hanging on by a thread,
dissipated, and he needed extreme help. But I didn't know to like the level of what he was using.
Why do you think the last time stuck for you? What was it about the last experience in rehab?
The last time I really had no options. I was depressed. My anxiety was at an all-time high. I had lost all the millions. I had lost all my dream cars. I pretty much had lost my dream of becoming who I thought I wanted to be. I fell behind on my rent and I was about to be evicted. When I finally got to rehab that time, I said, you know what, man, like, I know the odds are against me. The odds are against most people, but I really got to try this time.
Now, almost 8 years sober, the soon-to-be dad of 3 is living his dream with his college sweetheart, Lauren, in New Jersey. They rekindled their romance in 2013, and she stood by Mike's side through his road to recovery and legal troubles.
You know what? He's always been a really charismatic guy and a very social person. He's always talked to everyone. Always.
Never met a stranger.
And he's always been a good guy at heart, and that's really the guy that I had fought for. But now, of course, he's evolved into an amazing man and father.
You're on Entertainment Tonight.
You are. your journey is triumphant. The comeback is here. It's happening.
Mm-hmm.
What is the best part of sobriety?
Oh God, you're gonna make me cry. Every day when my family, my wife, and my kids, we have a group hug, and the smiles that I see, it's just it's all worth it. All the pain, all the struggle, all the sacrifice. It's all worth it.
So what are you going to tell the kids in regards to Papa's addiction, and especially now that it's in a book?
I mean, listen, Dad is a G. Dad is a legend. Dad is a warrior, and I think they're going to be inspired by the man that I am and the life that I've led. Bye, guys.
Bye.
It doesn't get any better than that, like honestly. Like it's not easy. It's really not. It's but I just like I everything that he said is basically what I was going through too. And my husband is what made me. His unconditional love is what kept me going and getting everything out of it. It's just crazy. Like now she's pregnant again. They're still on the show. It's amazing, right? But the thing about that, okay, so then we have Lala, right? Now, as much as all the shit that we could say about Lala, I am so shocked, and I was so proud of the fact that she just, in the middle of goddamn filming, have nobody telling her she got to get sober. She don't give a shit. She's got all kinds of money. Basically what she just chose to get sober in the middle of filming or in the middle of this relationship with a guy that she barely doesn't want to be with, Emmett, right? On the show. So remember Lala, how evil she was to people on the show and she blamed on her alcoholism. I wonder if we gotta talk about Jax too. Are you guys with me? All right. I hope I'm allowed to play that stuff, right? I hope I'm allowed. I don't know. Because this is an important conversation. Who's on Instagram over here? Anybody? How come nobody wants to watch? Nobody wants to talk about sobriety? I'm shocked. Yeah, but are you guys with me anyway? It looks like I don't know. Anyway, let's talk about Lala. So Lala, she is Lauren Birmingham. Anyway, she's been on Vanderpump. She came on season 4, and she was Lala with the hoops, right? And she struggled with alcohol the entire time. The party scene, the show. She also then eventually she had lost her father in 2018 as the show's filming. There's scenes when she was like screaming at Rachel Raquel in her face. It's eating her pasta, which was cocaine pasta. If you guys ever hear us talking about the pasta, you know what pasta is, right? Pasta's cocaine. So when Lala, DJ, James Kennedy, and Raquel are arguing about pasta, they're not really arguing about pasta. Okay. So basically, she says the death of her father was one of the moments where she wanted to get clean off alcohol, but she was in the middle of drinking a lot. She was with Emmett, so she had Emmett's kids, and they were always going to Disneyland, and she said that she was completely wasted the entire time. And she said it was so embarrassing at one point because she loved his kids so much. Not the minute she loved him, but she loved his kids. And she said, at one point she just decided that after this one trip that she was going to get sober, and that was in October 2018. And she's been in AA ever since. And the thing that bothers me with Vanderpump is they don't focus on her sobriety. And the fact that she has gotten sober and nobody's forcing her to, and I say this all the time, when I say nobody's making them do it, I'm saying nobody's forcing them. Like I always had a court 17 times. It was either my mom, my dad, my parents, the courts, everybody else but me wanted me to go away, right? So when and then it was like I really had no choice because I was forced to go. And then when I finally went because I wanted to, so that's what I mean. So she's in the middle of the show, she's got money. She's hiding her. She's drinking and nobody's telling her not really to drink, but she just decides to get sober. And you know how fucking hard that is to get sober? And she's completely sober. She didn't even do smoke pot or anything. And I've always been so freaking proud of that. And I'm like, she is a real bitch because I get upset that they don't focus on her sobriety because she does do a lot of work. She goes to AA a lot. She does a lot of things I guess, what are they called? She goes and talks about it a lot, you know what I mean? And does different things, talks about addiction and recovery. And, she was engaged to Emmett Smith, is that his name? No, Randall Emmett. Who's Emmett Smith? Randall Emmett. she said that he's one that encouraged her to get sober, but I think she had to be drunk to be with him. I think that was the thing. Because then she got pregnant and never had sex with him again. No offense, Nate Randall, but you and Big Ed and that lawyer guy that goes after Eric all the time, you guys are like triplets, I swear to God. I can't deal. But anyway, so October by 2021, he was cheating on her. But she already had her daughter, which was awesome. So, like, she basically, I love watching her become a mother because I remember, like, I didn't like Lala at all. I thought she was annoying. She was like, I hated her just like I didn't like Jax. All for different reasons. Lala, I just was, she's a mean girl. I didn't like her. But seeing her with her daughter was amazing. And just knowing, I didn't like her when she was getting sober, but I liked that part of her. And I always would just admire that. I'm like, this bitch is getting sober for no motherfucking reason. Nobody's forcing her to. She just wants to. She could get high all day long. She could drink all she wants. She's not. And like Carl did the same thing. Like, same thing. It's just something clicks in you. I don't know what it is because it happened with me. And the last time in 2012, something just was different that time. Something just was different. I mean, I know what it was, but we guys aren't ready to talk about that part of it yet. But, you know, I was sick and tired of being sick and tired. And I didn't have any more runs in me anyway. I was homeless at this point. My parents, I was barely, you know, surviving. My parents finally were letting me back at the house. I was 36. I was homeless. You know what I mean? And there's like a lot of amazing like spiritual things that happen in between, but like that's what keeps me sober. But anyway, so Lala has Ocean, and she's still sober to this day, and she has another child. Now, like I said, like she was a real bitch during the season to Ariana, and I'm just like, wow, it wasn't the alcohol. You're just like a bigger mean girl. But I watch her now, like she is on her podcast with her daughter, her new daughter. Her name's Sosa, like Sammy Sosa, which makes me think that her daughter is a Sosa. Like from the Sosa, like the baseball team, Sammy Sosa's family. Because why would she name her daughter? I'm just saying, her daughter looks like you. I'm just saying, that's a hint, I think. But Lala is so amazing when she's with her mom. I'm sorry, with her daughter, and being a mother. Like her podcast, like she's like, her mom and her brother are there, but like when she talks about her daughter, they talked about how when she gave birth, like she's just amazing. She just like Lala's a different person than we know. It's weird. I've heard a lot of people say this about her, that she's completely different. She's just a really nice person. Like I don't know. I feel like they don't focus enough on her life. And Sosa doesn't have a dad, so she was like, I'm not sharing my child. So I love it. She's an advocate for addiction recovery. She shares her story a lot on social media. You know, she says it's an emotional dependency like I had with struggles with addiction. You know, it's high pressure on that show, those shows, you know what I'm saying? So it's basically like you have people that are, you go and you have people that are constantly like you go, you're loved 1 minute, you're hated the next minute. So anything you're dealing with emotionally is just going to be multiplied. So imagine that. You have to be really fucking strong to get sober while you're filming. Think about it. You have half the people hate you. You know what I mean? And you got your friends fucking you over, but you're still doing it, you know? So I don't know if there's just like, there's something that just clicks, I guess, in our age too. But I'm just really proud of Lala. So like, that's the people that I'm talking about that have been able to basically stay sober. They've gotten sober and stayed sober, right? Now that's an issue. So like I had an issue with I could get sober, just couldn't stay sober, right? But so now I watch people, like I get very, very upset when I see Kim Richards or let me see if there's any more. I'm going to talk about Lala. Let me see the videos of Lala. Sorry guys. I should have played some stuff of Lala. Hold on. Because I got a lot of stuff for her. I love when she talks about her kids and stuff. Like,
on her sobriety journey. On October 22nd, the Vanderpump Rules star marked half a decade since she gave up alcohol for good and reflected on the days she decided to get help back in 2018. The 33-year-old shares a heartfelt message on Instagram, writing, quote, "I've been sober for 5 years today. On this day, I replay my rock bottom moment. All the details of what happened on this day. Waking up, admitting I was powerless, and for the first time in many years, seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. I'm so grateful for this day." Lala also shares some hope for anyone still struggling with addiction, adding, quote, I will continue to work hard for my sobriety and take a moment of silence for the alcoholic who still suffers. I see you. I love you. Thank you, God. Happy birthday to me. The reality star celebrated the momentous occasion surrounded by friends and co-stars, including Sheena Shea, Ariana Madix, Katie Maloney, and Vanderpump Rules alum Stassi Schroeder at Chili's restaurant in Los Angeles, California. In one video on her Instagram stories, the Give Them La La podcast host holds her 2-year-old daughter Ocean as the group sings happy birthday to her with a cake that reads, Give them 5 years sober. Lala's Bravo family also rallied around her in support with sweet shout-outs on social media. Sheena wrote on Instagram, quote, "You inspire me every day and are one of the strongest women I know. Congratulations on this huge milestone. I'm so proud of you." Katie shared, "Happy 5 years, Lala Kent. So proud of you. Love you so much." While Ariana commented on Lala's Instagram tribute with, "Congratulations. This picture of you and little Ocean is so precious."
I love that. Like, it's so hard, guys. It's so hard to say. Huh? I don't know what's. I don't know what's playing. Sorry, somebody else's thing started playing. You guys are still there. See, like hearing like these, it's amazing. Like the fact that there's things are all right. So then, like I said, right about Kim Richards. So let's find out what's going on with Kim Richards because, she apparently, I guess it was so bad. I don't know what substance it is, but to have a 5150 from your family, you guys know what that is? That is so hard to get on somebody. That is somebody, a family member that has to basically be like your husband or something, or a parent, and there's neither with her. But I guess Kyle is her next. I don't know. Maybe we're forcing her to go into rehab. Forcing her. And then she left. Kyle threatened to take the house from her again, which I guess that's a tough love. You know what I mean? Kyle doesn't enable. But like, I really didn't think that Kim was struggling. And it really hurts my heart that, it makes me think of me like it could happen to any of me. Like, what if I start using again, right? And I'm her age. Like, I feel like I would never try ketamine treatments because I literally look what happened with Chandler, with Matthew Perry. I was saying to you guys, I didn't even know that he was still doing ketamine. I didn't know he was addicted. I just kept saying it's not just Suboxone, something's wrong. And I said I would never try ketamine because I'm afraid to get addicted. And that's what happened to him. Him and I were both using pills at the same time. Back in the day, I realized that years later when he came clean. But dude, ketamine just got him again. And I'm like, do you see how dangerous that is for addicts? Why in the fucking world would anybody do that to somebody? Give that to somebody who's been an addict to even start with. Think about that. Ketamine is a drug that we would get high from, okay? So to give that to somebody that's had a struggle with addiction, I don't think so, friends. That's literally, that's so scary to me. I'm so glad now that I didn't try it. Because if that could get him, it could get me. It could get anybody that has addiction. I suffer. Okay, there's also a thing called addiction transfer, okay? Now, addiction transfer is when your addiction transfers or say okay, so my first addiction was probably, I think, shopping. And I was probably 15, 16, 17 years old. And then it was sex. I didn't realize it was. I didn't realize what it was. I didn't realize still have a shopping addiction. It's never gone away. And then it was that. And then it was drug. And so I started taking pills, right? So it would transfer over to another thing. So if you don't take care of the problem, you're just, people go to detox or take care of these symptoms, right? But they're never taking care of the problem. And again, the problem's not going to be taken care of unless you want it to. I was self-medicating, so I wanted to get high. I didn't want to feel anything. I wanted to be not myself in my head. And that was scary. And I would say to myself, what the fuck is wrong with me? Why do I not want to be here? You know what I mean? I know I'm mentally ill, but like I needed Percocet. When I took Percocet 22, I said, "Holy shit, this is the answer to life." I'm not kidding you. I was not like this. See how I'm talkative and stuff like that? This is not because of drugs. This is me now. But this took a long time. I can't do this in public. But like, I literally, like, I could not. I was going out to bars and stuff, and I was drinking, and I needed to have Percocet at that point. And my cousin gave them to me, and I was like, "Holy shit, answer to life!" And 22 years old, and I went 17 times to rehab. It was when I started smoking crack and doing dope, and all the it's addiction transfer, and it's always another thing. So you kind of just have to fix the problem. And it took me till I was goddamn 36. No, yeah, 2012. And then after that, I still had to. I was getting married. I still had to deal with jail and stuff. You still have to deal with your past, like Mike had to deal with his past, right? Carl, Carl's. I'm so proud of him for not relapsing after dealing with Lindsay. Now he's also, not only did Mike write a book, Carl's opening up a bar called Dry Bar. It's a sports bar that's dry. So Lindsay told him that was a horrible idea when they broke. She broke up, and she used to tell him all the time. She was a horrible fucking fiance. For somebody who's in recovery, she did all the wrong shit. And even in the goddamn reunion, she didn't understand what she was doing. And it was, thank God he just broke up with her, because he said, my sobriety's more important. But again, you're right. You're saying something about the producers and all that don't give a shit. They don't. The fact that they knew that Shannon struggled with her sobriety right now and drove into a house, and because of John, and now, you're hiring the bitch that's fucking her man, who's fucking with her and extorting money from her. Can you imagine how hard that was? So Shannon couldn't stay sober, but she wasn't being out of hand. I just hope that Shannon understands that she can drive. I don't know why she drove that night. I mean, she probably doesn't know either. She obviously, it was a mistake. I don't want to hear it's the first time it ever happened. It's the first time I ever drove. I don't believe that. But how dare you put your dog in the car and endanger other people? What if somebody was sitting on their front porch when she hit that front porch? You know what I mean? It's not like, you should not be making those decisions, Shannon, at 60. But I'm just really fucking proud of you, though, man, for not going and flying off the handle and walking away from these people, these bitches that are trying you, because they are fucking trying her hard. You know what I mean? And these producers don't fucking care. Just like Andy said or I'm sorry, what was it? Jeff Lewis said to Andy, "What do you mean? Like, what do you expect? You took all her friends, you literally, and then you put you get her on, you hired the bitch that took her and her man, then you take all her friends, right?" And Andy was like, "Well," it's like, "Well, what?" Because Jeff was the one who was with Shannon a lot after she did the whole thing. So when they say my friend said John did come to my rescue or whatever, that's Jeff Lewis. So, I thought he was going to be more in the show. But I wonder if there's more. I have any videos of Shannon. I'm really disappointed that video made it out of her hitting the house. Because that was the whole, like, I'm going to blackmail you with this video. How the fuck did it get out? You know what I mean? I don't know if I have any Shannon. Tamara. I think I have Tamara. No, wait, I don't. Sorry. What else do we have here? Sorry. Carl. Yeah, we already saw that. So yeah, I mean, I wanted to just come back on here because I was still, in the mood to keep talking. I feel like I got my juju back today. I just had to turn around and just start laughing at my life because you can't make this shit the fuck up. You just can't make my life up. It's not even me. I don't even want to, I can't even, like, you guys don't even know. I have no fucking clue. I'm running background checks on people. I'm just telling you. Don't ask why. I'm running back. I don't know what the fuck's going on. I have to laugh at this. And I have to stay sober through this because I was struggling yesterday. I did not think I was going to make it. And that's what scares me. Yeah. I don't know what's happening. I'm probably going to have to get off of here and find out. My mother just left my dad after 46 years. Bye. Peace out. I'm out of here. Nothing. I'm shutting off the electric, by the way. So don't plan on having any electric. I'm not kidding. Yep. No electric. My dad's like, what the? I don't know. I'm like, what the? What? All right, guys. I see you guys. I love you. Thank you for joining this. I am sorry that I'm going to get more into this. I'm going to try to get some interviews with this and some people to come up and panel and talk about addiction with me. So I'm not up here blabbing by myself. You know what I mean? So I'll reach out to people. But anybody that's watching after this, thank you. I appreciate you. Instagram, thanks for joining. And guys, I'll see you in the chat or whatever. Where's my outro? I keep forgetting to play it. Please like, comment, and subscribe, by the way. Darn it. I gotta stop doing this. I'm too high for this. And I'm just saying, weed is legal.